Hi friends. So an epic match yesterday between Djokovic and Nadal that lasted almost 4 hours and 15 minutes. So a massive victory for Djokovic, I would say, because everyone was expecting Nadal to win. Nadal was the favorite. He was going for his 21st Grand Slam title, but it was not to be. Djokovic made it very clear that this is one of the best matches that he has ever played on the on clay at the French Open. So full credit to Djokovic for playing well and winning this match, and also credit to Nadal. I think he kept playing, kept fighting till the end, even though he clearly looked tired towards the end in the fourth set, but he still kept fighting and hit a lot of winners, and that's how Nadal is. So credit to both these guys. They played an exceptional match, and we'll look at some of the statistics first, and then we'll discuss how this match was actually won and what were the key factors that helped Djokovic to win this match. So let's start with the statistics. So as you can see, this was a four-set match, and the first set belonged to Nadal, who started off very well. He was 5-love up in the first set, and it was quite similar to his last year's performance. And I'm sure Djokovic, for a moment, would have thought that it's deja vu and the things are getting repeated again. And last year we all saw how easy it was for Nadal to beat Djokovic. He played an exceptional virtuoso performance. It was from Nadal last year, and 6-0, 6-2. I think this was the score line for the first two sets last year. And Djokovic, full credit to him because being love five down and having been in a similar situation last year, the way he reacted was very very nice to see because he broke back Nadal immediately, and when it was 5-2 and 5-3, we knew that Djokovic is starting to find this rhythm and he's back in the match, even though he was still down in the set. But even Nadal would have thought that Djokovic is coming back, and that is why when we saw the second set, we could clearly see that Nadal was also feeling the pressure, and that is why he was broken in the second set, early in the second set. So a great, comeback from Djokovic after being so easily defeated in the first set. And if you look at the statistics, the one thing stands out for me is number one, the double faults that Nadal made. You can see 8 double faults, and it's not like Nadal was serving badly or he was having some issues with the ball toss or anything. It's not like that. Nadal was serving well. It's the pressure that Djokovic imparts on Nadal. I think this was the reason because of which Nadal had to go for extra on his serve, because Djokovic is one of the best returners in the game, and that caused a lot of pressure on Nadal to make sure that he serves well, whether it is a first serve or second serve, and that is what resulted in these double faults. When you see the first serve percentage, it's 64-65, which is very good compared, as considering the match, the level of match it was. And the first set, I would say Djokovic did not start off well. He was not serving well. He was losing points on his second serve. I think he only won around 20 to 25% points on the second serve. But then as the match progressed, his serve improved, and even though Nadal was standing way back behind the baseline, but still Djokovic's serve was effective, because even if it wasn't an ace, it was still giving Djokovic a chance to step into the court and attack, in his upcoming shots. Now, when you see the winners and unforced errors, you can see that Djokovic hit 50 winners and 37 unforced errors, so a very positive ratio there. Whereas Nadal, uh, you know, surprisingly hit a lot of unforced errors that is not expected from him. But maybe this was due to the change in conditions throughout the match. When the match started, it was an evening condition, and the ball was still flying off through the court. There was sun out there, but then later on the conditions changed, the lights were on and it was dark, and the conditions started being a little bit heavier, which favored Djokovic a little bit, and the topspin level of Nadal's shots also dropped, and maybe his level overall as well. And we also saw this level drop against Schwartzman, but Schwartzman was not able to capitalize on it. But Djokovic, did, and that is why he was able to turn around in the second set. Now, when we talk about the key shots for Djokovic, I think we discussed this in our last video in the preview, and we could see that some of these shots will prove decisive in the match, and that's what happened. So when you see the serve, Djokovic's serve was the key factor from set number two, and then continuing on till the end of the match, he was able to hold his serve very easily a lot of times, and a lot of times he was able to get his first serve in when he was facing break points, because mind you, there were a lot of break points on both ends, about 20 break points for Djokovic and about 20 break points for Nadal. So they had to save a lot of break points. Then we talk about the backhand down the line. Of course, I mentioned it before that that will be an important shot to neutralize Nadal's forehand. And even though Djokovic was not hitting winners of that wing too much, but he was able to change direction of the ball quite easily, and that is very very important against Nadal, because you need to be able to change the direction, because Nadal wants to keep hitting that cross court forehand and pull you out of the sidelines and then hit the winner in the open court. But he was not able to do so, because one shot, two shot, and then you could see Djokovic, hitting that backhand down the line and neutralizing the point, and then, forcing Nadal to hit his backhand, and that's how he was allowed to be back in the point, and that's why Djokovic was able to win those points. Now, when we talk about volley, I will not say that Djokovic, volleyed well yesterday. He missed a lot of volleys, but even though when he was not missing it, there seemed to be some lack of understanding on what shot he should pick, whether it should be a lob, or it should be a bunt volley or a drop volley, or maybe a slice down the line, a chip and charge, or what he should do when he comes to the court, because a lot of times Nadal did apply the drop shot, and Djokovic was at the front of the court and he needed to do something. So I wouldn't say that his volley was perfect, but the good thing is that he kept coming towards the net, because that was important. You cannot beat Nadal from back of the court, so you need to try, and even though he lost some of the points, the fact that he kept coming also pressured Nadal, that he had to think it through, that maybe Djokovic is going to come forward, maybe Djokovic is going to go for a volley, and that kept Nadal on his toes. Now, the overhead shot, as we saw from the beginning of the match, that was an issue for Djokovic. We have seen a lot of times he misses the overheads, he mistimes the overheads, and that's what happened in the first game of the match when it was Nadal's serve and it was deuce, and Djokovic had an relatively easy smash to hit, but he missed it, and Nadal was able to hold on to that game. And in the second game as well, when Djokovic was facing break points, I think there also he had two or three consecutive smashes to hit, and he was not able to hit a good smash, and the ball was straight away uh, available for Nadal to hit a winner, and that's how the first set was won, because that was the beginning. And when you give Nadal 2-love or 3-love lead at the beginning of the match, he really tends to play aggressively, and that's what happened. So definitely Djokovic needs to work more on his overhead. Now, inside out forehand I've mentioned here, but I don't think yesterday Djokovic played a lot of inside out forehands, but his cross court forehands were a delight to watch, and he used a lot of topspin. If you watch the whole match, you will see that his RPMs were very close to Nadal's forehand RPMs later in the match, and this is why it was so difficult for Nadal to control his backhand, because Djokovic was angling his forehand cross court and hitting it with a lot of topspin, moving Nadal outside the sidelines, and he had to track a lot of balls from outside the sideline and try to use his backhand to play the loopy balls, or whether it is a single-handed slice or whatever it is. It made life difficult for Nadal. So that is why I would say forehand was a very important shot for Djokovic yesterday. And key tactics, as we have already discussed, the court position was really important. We'll see in the upcoming screenshots that Djokovic was able to stay, just behind the baseline or at the baseline, and that allowed him to take the ball on the rise, take the ball early, and hit the winners in the open court or cross court. So that was a very important shot that he hit. Now, I have mentioned here a quick slice, but he did not use the quick slice for my liking, and I wanted to see that shot, because in the beginning of the match, Nadal was hitting his cross court forehand with a lot of topspin, and Djokovic had an opportunity or had an urgency to use that shot, but he didn't. but it did not matter in the end as he was able to control it with his backhand. Aggression wise, I would say Djokovic was aggressive, but not as aggressive as one would have liked to see. And part of reason for that is the court conditions and the topspin, the amount of topspin Nadal was imparting on the ball. It was really difficult for Djokovic to be aggressive. Finishing points at the net was a key tactic for Djokovic, and even though he was losing a few points, he continued to go to the net. He continued to use his drop shots, and those net exchanges were won by Djokovic a lot of the times, and it gave him confidence. And he also took the ball early, as I've already mentioned. And the main reason for taking the ball early was also the court conditions. So as the game progressed, it was a night turned into a night session, and the conditions became heavy. The ball bounced lowered a little bit. Nadal's topspin was not working that much, and Nadal also got tired after first two sets, and he was not able to use the same energy on his forehand that he was using in the first set, and that allowed Djokovic to step into the court, be in a good court position, take the ball early, and use his forehand or his backhand to control the point. Now, these are the screenshots that I was referring to. So you can see here it is the second game of the match, and Djokovic has a smash to hit to save the break point. But because he did not, allow the ball to bounce and maybe simplify the smash, he wanted to take it in the air itself in order to shorten the point, in order to take time away from Nadal. But he was not able to hit a good smash, and because of which it went straight back to Nadal, and Nadal was able to win this point and get to a 2-love lead, and then also take the first set. Now here is what I was referring. So as the match progressed, you can see Nadal has hit a backhand to Djokovic, and now you can see Djokovic, the court position he's in the middle of the court. He is very very close to the baseline, and the ball is not going to bounce that much because Djokovic is so close to the baseline. He has to take that ball on the rise, but because the ball will not be allowed to bounce much, Djokovic will have the opportunity to either hit a very good backhand down the line or backhand cross court, and he could then control the point from then. Now here you can see one of the Djokovic's forehand. Now the most important thing was the topspin that he was imparting, and you can see here that even though he will not be hitting a out and out flat winner, but he was hitting with so much topspin that it was forcing Nadal to go back behind the baseline, that you can see in this screenshot. So in this screenshot, you can see the green line is the trajectory of Djokovic's forehand that he has just hit, and now you can see how far Nadal has to go outside the sidelines to take that ball on his backhand, and as a result, Nadal will not be able to hit his backhand with a lot of power, and Djokovic will have the chance to step into the court and hit a winner. Again, the same example, you can see Djokovic's forehand, the trajectory it's going to follow, and you can see the red mark there. So that is where the ball will end up going, and you can see how much Nadal will have to go outside the sidelines to cover that ball. That will provide an open court for Djokovic to hit the further shots. Now again here you can see Djokovic is inside the court, and hence he is able to control the shot and hit a great cross court backhand as a winner. And again, the same thing, you can see the court position of Djokovic. It is so good. It is just on the baseline, and he's able to hit the shots so easily because of that. And the court conditions also definitely played a part for that. And I think this is one of the turning points. So there were two turning points in my understanding in this whole match. The first one was in the third set where Djokovic was leading 5-4. He was serving for the set. It was 30 love, and he missed a very very simple forehand inside out when he was close to the net, and that is how he allowed Nadal to come back into that third set, and then it was 5-all. Nadal also played well, and the second turning point was this point that you can see in the screenshot. It is a third set tie break. Now mind you, this third set tie break lasted 1 hour and 30 minutes, so obviously it had to have a big impact on the match, and that is what happened. So such an important set, and you can see the score is 4-3 in the tie break. Nadal is serving on serve in the tie break, and it's a simple volley for Nadal. He just had to hit. in the open court, but he hit it outside the baseline, and it was called long. And then it was 5-3 for Djokovic, and then Djokovic served out this set in the tiebreak. So I think this was one shot, the turning point of the match, because if Nadal would have made this volley, it would have been 4-all in the tiebreak, and it was still Nadal's serve, and the set could have gone either way. But not to be. Djokovic won this set in the tiebreak, and then in the fourth set, Nadal's level dropped. He was also tired, and Djokovic could, sniff the victory, and he was on the ascendancy. Again, one of the examples of the Djokovic forehand that I was talking about, the amount of topspin he was hitting, he was able to create a lot of angle. Here also you can see the green line is the trajectory of Djokovic's forehand, and Nadal, you can see how far outside the court he has to go to track that ball. So these were the turning points in the match that we already discussed. The last three games of the first set, because it was really important for Djokovic to, set something straight in the first set, win some games, and at least show Nadal that he's still fighting for the match. And that is what happened in the first set. Had he lost the first set 6-love, I think the match would have ended in straight sets for Nadal. But I think the way he came back in the first set and he got a break back, that allowed him to gain some confidence and stop the bleeding, as I would say. And also it caused some pressure on Nadal's end as well, because Nadal knew that now Djokovic is coming back, and second set is probably not going to be as easy as the first set has been, and that's what happened in the end. Then the third set tiebreak, and the third set was really important, and even Nadal's fitness was in question after the third set, because it was a long set, 1.5 hours almost. And in the fourth set you could see, even though Nadal was trying not to show anything, but he looked tired in the end. And that was also a reason where why he was not able to come back in the fourth set. So match winning factors for Djokovic: topspin forehand, the backhand down the line, the serve, and the court conditions in the end. Because had it been a whole a day match with sunny conditions, I would say Nadal's forehand would have had a lot more topspin, and it would have caused a lot of problems for Djokovic. But initially the conditions were favoring Nadal, but I think later on, as the match progressed, in the night session, Djokovic would always have the favor, against Nadal, because the topspin would be less, and also the conditions will be cooler, so it would be somewhat less physical for Djokovic. And as we had predicted earlier, that if Djokovic loses the first set, there is only 10% chance that he will be able to win the match. But that's what happened. So again, full credit to Djokovic, and you can understand now how difficult it would have been for Djokovic to turn the match around, because he lost the first set, and it had never happened before that Nadal lost a match after winning the first set in the French Open. And it happened yesterday. So obviously, if something is happening only one time in 15 years, then you can imagine. And full credit to Djokovic, his mental ability after losing the first set and after going love 5 down, the way he came back, especially after what happened last year, he was able to turn it around, and that was amazing to see. And that's why I think it was important for Djokovic to continue with that momentum after he had won the second set. For Nadal, I would say he played a good match. It's not like Nadal played badly or he was not fit. He played well. He started off really well, but then in the middle of the match, I would say a lot more unforced errors crept in Nadal's game, and that is unusual. But maybe that was because of Djokovic's game. Maybe that was because of the pressure. But a lot of unforced errors were there in Nadal's game. A few double faults as well. And then the third set was vital. Once Djokovic got the third set, I think he got a lot of confidence, and Nadal was visibly tired in the end, and he was also, not hitting those many winners in the fourth set, whereas Djokovic was really going for the kill. So a good performance, great performance from Djokovic. He himself said in the press conference that that is one of the best matches he has ever played. And Nadal, on the other hand, congratulated Djokovic and told that Djokovic deserved to win this match. And I think it was really important for Djokovic to get this victory, because now it puts him just one match away from his 19th Grand Slam. And if he is able to beat Tsitsipas, that would also be an amazing match. And if he's able to beat Tsitsipas and get to his 19th Grand Slams, then it will be a really close contest between Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer, with those two tied at 20 Grand Slams and Djokovic at 19. So a very close battle, and this year we will see some amazing tennis and some amazing close contests. So let's hope that we get a good match between Djokovic and Tsitsipas. And thanks for watching, guys.